I started thinking about how there really is a force, a social force, I don't know what it is, in the world that pushes back against attempts to help. And I wonder if you have ever thought about what that force is, or why it exists, or why it feels embarrassing. There's some aspect of service, reaching out to help other people, that even though you know this is what we're supposed to do, it feels a little like, I'm showing off, aren't I? I'm an SJW, a social justice warrior. Why am I doing this? I just want accolades. This isn't real. Will you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned a lot of the reasons right there. First of all, the idea that we're supposed to be good and we're supposed to help other people,
Yeah,
it's kind of smarmy. It smacks of, being lectured or
right,
forced to go to church or stuff like that, that
right.
is pretty phony or can feel, your heart isn't in it. Um, and then the idea that you're doing it just to get approval or recognition. Honestly, nothing we do is just for one reason. If I help people, I do it also because I'm going to feel good. And I want to tell you, I've been playing with the Chat GPT, Open AI.
Yes.
You and I played with it some together.
Yeah,
So I asked OpenAI. I was like, okay, you help me with this question. Like, why should you bother helping other people?
yeah.
Why bother? I
Why
mean, we have
bother?
problems of our own. I can barely keep my own life in order, right?
Yeah.
So I want to tell you what it said.
Okay, great.
Can I read it to you?
Please, I can't wait.
All right, listeners, listen up. Do you often find yourself, this is AI generated. Do you often, and it was generated instantaneously. As soon as I asked the question, the print came out. Do
Wow.
you often find yourself wondering why you should bother helping others? After all, you've got your own problems to deal with, right? Well, fear not, dear listener. We're here to tell you that helping others is a totally selfish act. Well, on the surface, sure, it might seem like you're being selfless and doing good for someone else. But when you really think about it, helping others is all about getting that warm, fuzzy feeling that comes from feeling good about doing something nice for someone else.
Yes.
That feeling of joy and satisfaction that comes from knowing you've made a difference in someone's life. And let's be real, who doesn't love feeling good about themselves? But they go on, Duncan. But it's not just about the warm, fuzzy feelings. Helping others can also have some pretty sweet perks. For example, have you ever noticed that people who are known for being kind and helpful have more friends? It's true. When you help others, you're more likely to return the favor, which can give you more friends. They say
Right.
stronger social connections, supportive social network, all that stuff. And we know that friends and support are the key to a happy and fulfilling life. So next time you're considering whether or not to help someone out, remember, it's not about being selfless. It's about being selfish. Do it for the warm, fuzzy feelings and the awesome perks that come with it. You won't
Holy shit.
you won't be sorry. That's the
What?
chatbot response.
What?
Yep.
That's amazing. That is really unnerving and amazing and true.
I
That
was
is
saying
true.
the added charm of being true.
Yeah. Wow. That is so cool. Whoa.
I mean,
To
we could talk about the science and how when we engage in acts of kindness, our brains release oxytocin, the feel good hormone, and then we get healthier. I mean, we could talk about all that, but isn't being selfish more fun?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's just it's like from that perspective, which is really fascinating. It's sort of saying, look, everything you're doing is probably selfish in the sense you have a self, you have to eat, but taking care of other people, it actually does more for you than just taking care of yourself. Because my many experiments in selfishness, serving myself. My God, I should start an organization just for serving myself. This is my life, actually. I'm always tending to myself, lotioning myself, trying to get that feeling that the AI is talking about. And truly, that feeling for me does not activate as much when I'm doing it for myself. But the moment I'm doing anything, which is great about having kids, because my God, you're always having to serve other beings.
Oh,
It's like it's suddenly you're in heaven. It's joy. It's chaotic joy. It's incredible. But why, Trudy? Why do people get angry at you if you sort of publicly mention it? If you, and I feel it too. Like when I see those YouTube videos of people filming themselves helping, oh,
oh,
that
yeah, no,
disgusting. It's really embarrassing.
yeah, that's harsh. That's harsh. I mean, look, there's obvious ego, and then there's the subtle ego, which I prefer.
Yeah.
But seriously, I think that all these programs, 12-step programs of all kinds, everybody knows that when people are depressed or feeling isolated or disconnected or just down, that actually doing something kind or good for others, it lifts that mood. And I think the reason somebody might get angry is either there's this kind of perverse pleasure of enjoying when you're feeling like shit and enjoying
Yes.
a kind of dystopian view of the world and it being cynical and stuff like that. And so if you challenge that, it can make people angry. It can make them feel guilty or ashamed that they're not doing something. And then they get angry at you because
Right.
really they're mad at themselves.
Right. So they're just sort of projecting their own sort of inner sense of like, whoa, I'm just repeating, I'm looping here, I'm stuck in the mud. They're demonstrating a way out. And also, I think earlier you were talking a little bit about anytime it comes off as corrective,
Right.
where it's not just like you're helping other people, but then also you're trying to like maybe that's the problem is that it's like sometimes service is actually aggression. It's not just trying to get warm and fuzzy. It's underneath it is like, look, I'm better than you. Look at all the good I'm doing in the world while you're sitting there playing video games or staring at the internet. But you're doing it with a smile, but people feel that aggression underneath.
Yeah, no, that is really that's actually I would get angry at that too. I really would. It's sort of obnoxious, but I'm coming more from a place of, for example, with IACT, this group that I have supported, because it was founded by people who just could not stand. It was the time of the Darfur refugees and the genocide in Darfur. Unfortunately, there have been, several genocides in the world, but it was
Yeah.
that one, and they just couldn't stand it, and they went over there just with this little handheld recorder, and they just hung out with the refugees and said, what would be most helpful to you? Is there anything that we could do to help you over here when we're so far away over there? And like what possibly could we do? And they listened. And that's what was so different from, helping, the idea of helping. Like my first teacher, who was a Soto Zen monk, he said, I asked him once because I was working with severely dysregulated children, and I was like,
Mm.
and their parents who were tearing their hair out are also very crazy themselves. And I would say, how can I help them? And he said, no idea of helping.
Oh shit, that's deep.
Yes, it's deep. It was a
Wow.
deep, it was a koan for me for years. Like, oh, right, not to separate myself out. Like, I'm the goddess of giving over here, and
Right.
you're the pitiful recipient of my favor
Right.
over there. No,
That's it.
right? Right?
That's it.
So
That's
instead,
it.
they just humbled themselves. They just went and listened to the refugees and said, "What do you need?" I mean, they knew their community, and they were just these few people, so tiny groups. So they weren't constrained by having to do these top-down things like the UN, all the big refugee organizations. They
Right.
just listened, and the refugees said, "We need preschool and soccer. We want education, and we want to feel like we actually belong to the world instead of
Right.
being this open prison camp, stateless people. We want to play soccer. And they sent a team to to an international soccer. I don't know as much about the soccer because I went to help with the preschool when I worked in the refugee camp, but teaching them mindfulness. But we taught the soccer coaches too. They wanted mindfulness to help them deal with the stress of their situation and develop some coping skills to work with their flashbacks. I mean, I was like, where is mindfulness on the hierarchy of human needs, right?
Right. So mindfulness or any kind, I get how that would be something that would be incredibly useful for people who are going through something like that. My God, I just watched this. I don't know why I do this to myself. Just this Vice did a piece on the last family in, I think, the Ukrainian city is Bakhmut or something, and it's just getting blown to shit right now. And it's when you have kids, especially, and you
Horrible.
see it's this little girl living with her parents in this city, and all you can do is think that could be my kid. Why isn't that my kid? Why is that not my kid? This kid has sort of normalized this situation that she's in. She's putting her dad taught her to put like a big jug of water in front of the window so the window doesn't blow open when the bombs hit. And then she's sort of showing down in her bomb shelter they go to what she does for fun, which is like jumping off of a little ledge into a hula hoop. And then you're watching the parents are broken. They're trying to. I don't know why they have their reasons for staying there, which to me seem, I don't know. But who am I to judge? My God, I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
You watch something like that, and aside from the fact it just feels like the end of the world, you do want to help. You do, and certainly, like, I guess mindfulness is, if you're gonna help people deal with like recovering from that sort of reality, if you ever can recover from that kind of reality, mindfulness seems like it would be incredibly helpful.